What's up? The Party Nerds are back. We back.
Yo, why does it feel like it's been a long time?
Because it has been.
You know why? Because we ain't had Bravo or something, man. I feel like Bravo been missing.
It's been a minute since we had the whole squad together. So
Yo, this beat make me want to start beating people up in alleyways.
But in slow motion.
All right, Dev, start freestyling. Here we go. Okay, he ain't gonna freestyle.
Dev ain't getting paid. Dev ain't freestyling for nobody.
Listen,
like
dog,
that.
what you thought this was?
Dev, as the minority at this table, I really appreciated your freestyling.
Look, man, you wasn't gonna make me the Black Ranger just start dancing out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, we're talking Luke Cage season 2. Yo, this show is pretty dope. It's Jervis on the mic here. I got the rest of the squad. Well, half of them. I got Dev, that angry bro. What's up, man?
I'm good, man. I just enjoy
You in a
Luke
good mood
Cage,
today?
man. I'm in a fantastic mood, man.
Man, you got good stuff going on in your life.
I'm in a fantastic mood, man.
Nigga, that's a first.
We need to do. We're auditioning angry black men out there because our man,
then I'll be mad.
No, the only other time I've seen him this happy was when he first got his PlayStation.
You know what?
He was good for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I just discovered like a whole new like world. I didn't know video games was that dope. This is the last
Kinder,
time.
gentler Devin
Yeah,
Wade.
right?
Nah, I'm not. Once we start talking about the HNIC, Luke Cage.
his heaven Wade.
Listen,
No,
man.
beloved.
Then I got the bearded wonder next to me. Bravo.
What up?
The trim bearded wonder.
Summertime, man. Gotta keep it
I
trim.
want you, dog. You got that nice and trimmed up. That's cool. That's what's up, man. You gotta keep that neat.
And Darnell, I've noticed you copied my beard.
See, I had a feeling you were not going to be rocking the beard, so I was like, I need to, make up for what you don't have right now,
You know, I'm noticing a little salt and pepper there, which is surprising because you haven't aged in like 25 years.
It's finally starting to happen.
Catching up to him.
I'm going to start looking like the mummy, and then I'm like, Tales from the Crypt, like what happened to Darnell?
No joke. If you look at pictures of Darnell when he was 14, he actually looks older then than he does now.
right now.
It was a bad deal I made with some demon when I was younger.
Wow.
And for those that don't know, Darnell is our resident Luke Cage cosplayer.
The bootleg loot.
But he made a deal with a demon, so he's more like Earl Simmons.
You made him
fucked
spit
up,
out his drink. There you go.
What?
That's messed up.
All right, man.
Just saying.
So yeah, no, I mean, season 2, I mean, just real quick. And by the way, today we do have one of the actors from the show calling in, a very special guest. His name is Justin Swain. If you guys have watched the season, he played Detective Mark Bailey on the show. A phenomenal job, man. This season, and we're about to get into it, but I honestly thought this season had a lot more depth than the first season. I think they corrected personally a lot of things that went wrong the first season. I mean,
Hold on. What went wrong in the first season?
well,
Some pacing issues.
Pacing issues. I feel like they delved a little more into the character. I feel like, first of all, Mike Coulter's acting was a lot better. I feel like he was very stagnant the first season. I mean, don't get it wrong. I love him as like a character. I think he's a perfect Luke Cage, but I feel like it could be the way they wrote the script.
Yeah, I think that what happened was the Luke Cage is he's growing from kind of geeky to more street is what you saw.
To the comic character.
His swag developed over time. So you know what, before he was like real corny, but you still rocked with him because he was just a solid man. Mm-hmm. Now you see him getting a little smoother. He start cussing a little more, calling women bitches when they deserve it.
He's saying nigga now.
I heard
he
him
hates
say
that.
I heard him say
Yo, for real.
He called Mariah. He was like, bitch. She was like, nigga.
I said, whoa, what's going on?
Yo, he's definitely a different Luke Cage, man. He definitely changed a lot, which is, is that good or is that bad? I think it's good. I think he's cutting out of that squeaky clean image.
Look, man, all I know is when I saw the intro, rest in peace, Prodigy, Mobb Deep, they put that Shook ones on. He had it on in the headphones. He walking up in dope houses, beating people's ass. Taking the headphones off to hear what you got to say for a second. Put them back on, whoop your ass to some more Prodigy.
Yes.
Fire.
Yeah.
I love the hip hop nods.
And that's a way to start. I think that was just great to start the season off that way. I think that set the tone, and you were in for a ride. You just had to hold on to your seat and just get through these 13 episodes and enjoy every one. And they did a phenomenal job. I think way better than season 1. I agree with you. I think they grew a lot. They learned a lot from whatever mistakes they made in season 1, and they corrected those.
I ain't think it was necessarily better though.
I think it was definitely better.
I
think it was definitely better.
All right, so let's save that for after the interview, because I do want to talk to you about a couple things. I mean, but a couple of the acting performances too. I thought that first of all, Rosario wasn't really in the whole season. Right. She was just in.
Well, the second, I think it was the second episode it came on. I noticed that it said guest starring Rosario Dawson. And I went, oh shit, what's going to happen to her? And then when she left, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Oh, you thought her wig was going to pop.
Wow.
Yeah.
If they pop Rosario Dawson, dog, everybody is
Well,
there.
Luke would have lost that shit.
We all boycott. Yeah, no, she's awesome. She does a great job.
Yeah, they can't do that.
I mean, but they are transitioning from Rosario into Misty Knight's character.
I see that.
I love that girl. Look, that girl. There's something about just her, just who she is. I think, honestly, people are going to talk about the bad guys this season. I thought the dude that played Bushmaster, I thought Mariah were great, but I think she's going to probably be the most slept on character because she gave a hell of a performance.
Who?
She did great. What's the actress's name?
Misty Knight?
Yeah, Misty Knight.
She's fine as fuck.
Yo, listen, bro. Listen. Let's get one thing out there.
Simone Missick.
Okay, let's get something clear out here, man. I don't know what's going on down at the Harlem Police Department, but they got some bad ones. What? How? What's going on?
And they all ballers. They all ball too.
I'm like, look, the head chief, whatever lady, I don't know those rankings, but I'm like, damn, old head she bad too.
Even Mark's Justin's partner, Mark Swain's partner, the girl, she looked like
you said even. That's not an even.
Wait.
She is the one.
Wait. I was looking. She kind of looked like Jordan Sparks. But
listen,
like
that's Faith Evans right there. The fake Faith Evans from the Biggie movie. Yeah, she bad. They wasn't playing at their police department.
Even Tilda Swanson, was that the name of the?
Listen, dog, they not playing over there.
No, they. All right, so on the aesthetic level, the women on the show are beautiful. If y'all just want to see a show with beautiful women, make sure you watch Luke Cage.
You ever watch
2.
Black Lightning? They be like, Black Lightning's back. It's Black Girls is back in this show. That's all I know. They back.
No, man. I mean, but what did you guys think about, like, you mentioned earlier, the pacing of the show? I mean, did you think, like, this, I feel like it did have a couple parts that you just had to kind of make it through.
Right, and that's going to be, with 13 episodes, that's going to happen. I think it was worse in season 1. If you could feel it, like, man, all right, man. I could do something else while I'm doing, and and come back and watch.
Come on, my G.
Yeah, it had moments like that for season 1. This season,
you the hardest critic on earth.
No.
And we know about you, Larry Cage, for real.
Larry ain't out. Larry coming.
You want some?
Larry may have to come out later on.
You're a Larry Cage guy.
He even got it on his notebook, man.
Larry Cage,
yo, Jervis merchandising.
The thing that I was going to say is, with the exception of one scene, I felt that the choreography took a major step up. It still feels like Luke was brawling and everything. Right. Like, it was very apparent when you saw him and Bushmaster fight for the first time. But with the exception of one scene, I think it was like the third episode or something, where he's being surrounded by all the different people with different weapons.
Mm-hmm. The idiots.
Yeah, that was the only.
Why do people keep shooting him?
Well, that
was the only choreography that I didn't like. Just because it felt very forced. Everything else, it felt very organic. And as like somebody who's done martial arts their whole life, it's very easy to spot very bad choreography.
Now, Bravo,
that was good.
Let me say this, because this is something probably we could have a whole nother segment about, but bringing in Danny Rand, I feel like, first of all, I don't think his fighting improved that much visually, but his acting, he actually, to me, was the cool Danny Rand Iron Fist of the comics.
Well,
do you guys agree with that?
So wait, it took him 3 seasons, and you're suddenly, three series, and now it's okay.
But I don't think so. I don't think this was the actor's fault. Again, I don't think Finn Jones, like, I met him, is a great dude. I really feel like whoever knew before, the writers were like, you need to be angry, you need to have a lot of angst. But even Luke Cage said to him at one point, he was like, "You seem like you've changed," and he's like, "Yeah, I have."
I don't give a fuck if you met that nigga or not. He's butt. That's the one dude. He butt. Straight like that.
No. I disagree. I think they
I thought there was going to be like more explanation. It's just he but. But you know what? That's all he deserved.
No.
Yeah, he's
I feel they fixed him. I feel that at this point, if you're going to give me this template of a Danny Rand Iron Fist, then I'm gonna watch season 2.
That's the problem is they made him unfixable. I saw the moves that they made to try to change the character, but the character just didn't fit at all with a guy that you would think would have this discipline to fight a dragon and all that. Like Bravo told us before, it literally they're trying to make that adjustment or push it more towards it, but it still don't fit, bro. Like no matter what, he's whack.
All the fighting was done in the dark. So
wait. What about that?
There's only so much you can really probably.
Man, Samurai Jack did a good episode with it. I want to hear that shit. Samurai Jack did it.
That one scene where they did the patty cake though, that was dope. Y'all be lying if y'all didn't be like, yo, that shit was dope. Right
I wasn't expecting that.
That was like that video game combo.
That's
playing
like
the game.
The fastball special with Wolverine and Colossus, man. They got their own little thing going on.
That was dope.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, so Devin wasn't feeling Danny Rand Iron Fist, but all in all, Devin, like what other performances stood out to you in the show?
What I will say is the Mariah's daughter, because I can't remember actresses' names. I'm bad with that. But the chick that played her daughter, when
Gabrielle Dennis is an actress.
Okay, that's her. When she cried, when she told her the story of her life and like, you know, how she came to this earth and everything like that. And she told her, like, I never loved you. Ooh. When she was crying and had the spit dripping off her chin and just,
yo,
that shit was, I thought she really thought, like, that's not your mom, yo. You know this is a TV show, right?
Yo.
Like, cause you would have thought she really went there, dog. That was some fucking phenomenal
first of all,
acting.
that entire scene, that made me actually not like Mariah. I never really I knew she was kind of bad, the stuff she did, even when she killed Cottonmouth first season.
Kinda.
But that made me hate her. But like, yo, you are cold to tell this girl, like, honestly, you know, but you're a byproduct of rape, and I really don't really love you.
Yo,
like,
but when you think about that though, like now you got to get deeper into it. Like, damn, because I've never thought about that. Like people that have been raped and have had that baby. Yeah, why wouldn't you look at it that way at your child? Like, I can't stand to look at you because this reminds, especially if you know the person and they're around like that. Why wouldn't you hate that kid,
man?
Like that's some deep shit right there.
No,
I've seen a couple Reddit threads where people were talking about that, and there's a lot of people they don't feel that way towards their kid. They hate the people that did the accident.
When we get into the darker part of this conversation, I want to come back to this and talk about a real life situation that's near and dear to me in real life that has to do with that. And I could agree with what you said. It's real. And
we will get back to that because I know shortly we're going to have our caller calling in, Justin
I got a quick
Swain.
question for Dev, though, because I think you can answer this question. DW selling all the T-shirts, the videos, all that stuff.
Come on, man.
Did he make enough money to buy Pop's Barbershop, man?
Yo, listen, bro.
Come on. Could he have made that much money to buy Pop's Barbershop? I figure you can answer this question. If anybody can answer, I'm like, Dev, I'm about to text you like, yo, Dev.
He's selling dope on the line.
What else is he
T-shirts,
doing?
those Mexican T-shirts that you put in water and then it dissolves in the cocaine. Because ain't no way. He was selling like DVDs still.
Everything. Yeah. I'm telling you.
No way.
So he could have made that much money. If he saved it all, he was saving it.
I'm taking over the lease. I would have told him, you don't sit your dumb ass there. You're not taking over
nothing. You only made $15 last week selling these shirts.
Listen, I don't know what was going on. Literally when he said that, I was like, yo, did I miss something? Is DW like was he like the kid of somebody and he owns like I don't understand. I was confused.
Wait. My question is, why do they have a barbershop with no barbers? Like I thought he cut hair. He was selling merch. It's literally like a museum to Luke Cage. You know,
yeah, it's Switzerland, man.
Yeah, it's Switzerland.
That's the free zone. Safe zone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yo, but he's selling lots of merch, man. He moving product like crazy.
Nah.
Yeah, you saw a new shirt every time in the store, new hoodie. He folding them up like, yo, he was moving.
That's
product.
like calculated. He goes, Man, they're not even that much money in Harlem.
Listen, man, it's over. I don't know what kind of rent that is. That must be a Section 8 barbershop.
But know what else I love? Remember the part where Luke Cage was wondering, should he, like, they did tie in modern day events, like with the internet and stuff going viral and stuff. Like, I like how they tied all that in.
The ways for Luke Cage.
Exactly.
Yo, that was crazy.
That would happen though.
Absolutely.
Like, the fucking Harlem Hero app.
Yep.
Any hero that became famous, that's what people would start doing. Is they would
Absolutely.
start being like, "Oh my God, he's at this location." Blah blah blah. Here's a sighting.
Yep, spotted. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and even on top of that, like how he had the companies, like I was like, if you had this power, there's no reason like you wouldn't be a millionaire. You know what I mean? But you saw how the companies were reaching out to him. He kept kind of shrugging them off until he needed the money. Then he was like, all right.
And the NFL one makes perfect sense. The other ones I didn't think make that much sense, but the NFL one where he was like, listen, we can't have you because then it opens up everybody to have experiments. And
I mean, it should be obvious if you can't take steroids, you can't play in the NFL with a chemical bath. You know what I'm saying? That gives you super bulletproof skin. I mean, I think that's obvious.
Here'd be the entire game. All right, just give Luke the ball.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous to even think that that's something. You know what I'm saying? That come on, dog. How retarded.
I think we got the caller on the line right now. Dude, we're good.
What's up, guys?
Justin.
Hey,
What's up, man?
Guys, give it up for Justin Swain.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I'm excited. You guys are a trip. I've been listening to it.
Yo, man, listen, you working with some bad ones.
So Justin, first of all, thank you for calling in. And just to let you guys know, me and Jamie, we actually went to Justin, was it the Greater Philadelphia Comic-Con?
That's right. It was a Greater Philly Comic-Con. Yeah.
So we were at the Greater Philly Con, and they had a panel where they had Theo Rossi Shades, and they had Mike Coulter, Luke Cage there, and Justin was running it, and it was, Justin was a great guy. It was a lot of Q&A. We asked the actors some questions and stuff like that, and then I appreciate the fact that you're calling in, man, because this season was great, man. I honestly, I think that you guys outdid yourselves, and we just, a couple things we wanted to ask you. Like, first of all, I know, Jerv, you had a couple things.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, how did you get this role? Like, how was that audition process for you to get this role?
How did this happen?
Yeah, man. How did you get on?
How did you figure this one out? No, man. It was cool. It was actually really cool. It was pretty funny. I didn't even know what it was.
That's even better.
What?
Everything is shot and given to you under a code name, and you have to sign all of these NDAs and stuff, and so nobody can tell you what it was. And so that day, I actually had 2 auditions, and I had one in the morning for this show. I think it was called Limitless or something, and it was for this FBI agent. It was this really, really cool part. And then in the afternoon, I got this script, and there were no names on it. It was just all dialogue, and the code name for Luke Cage, I think it's kind of out there now, is Tierra. and it's produced by and owned by Disney. So I got this script with these weird lines on it called Tierra by Disney. And I thought it was
you're thinking you're going to be a prince.
Yeah, he's in a Prince
Makes
movie.
sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was a princess show. I didn't know what it was. But I saw there was some cop scene, and then I was reading the dialogue, and it was really kind of there was some bite to it, and it was cool. And so I went in and I auditioned for it. I was the first guy in the room, and this really amazing casting director, Julie Schubert, was running the session, and she cast me a long time ago in Boardwalk Empire. And
great show, by the way.
Oh yeah, you just spilling off top rank stuff. I think it was called Limitless. I think it was Star Wars or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, man. You go into these things, but yeah, Boardwalk Empire was fun, and Julie's awesome, and so I was really just kind of talking to her a lot because it's been a while since I saw her, and I was goofing on something or talking about millennials or something, and then she's like, okay, let's do this, and I was really kind of relaxed, and I had just trashed and bombed that audition earlier that day, the other one. So I was kind of in this devil may care attitude, and I just kind of threw it out, and she was like, oh, it was good, and gave me some adjustments, and then I did it a couple other times, And then she kind of said to me something like, "Hey, have you done a Netflix show before?" And I said, "No, not yet." And she's like, "Well, maybe you might." I was like, "I really hope so." And so I'm sitting there kind of goofing and joking with her, walking out of the casting room, and all the other guys who are about to go in after me are just sitting there glaring at me. Because they're like, "Look at this relaxed guy," and like all this stuff. And I came walking out laughing, and they were like, "That's that freaking guy who's going to get it."
Yeah, they knew they were wasting their time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just one of those things, man. But it was kismet. I was really lucky, to be a part of it, and then, a lot of luck goes into that stuff, and it happened to be my day. And man, I kind of fell ass backwards into a pretty awesome show, man. It's pretty awesome to be a part of it.
Was this all up in New York or was it out in L.A.? The audition?
No, this is all in New York.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
The auditions are all done in New York.
And you know what? Because I was looking at your resume, man. Like you mentioned before, like you were on Boardwalk Empire. Like, first of all, like how many episodes of Boardwalk Empire were you on?
It was just the one. It was really cool. It was in the second season, and I actually shot that day. I was the head of the IRA, and I was trading guns with Nucky for booze. And the person playing opposite me in the scene was Charlie Cox.
Oh shit!
Wow, I never even realized he was in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the second season, so I got to hang out with Daredevil before he was Daredevil.
Back when he could see. No, that's awesome, man.
That was a terrible joke. Terrible joke.
What do you expect for the guy that cosplays as Luke Cage?
Yeah, right? The bootleg Luke Cage. And so now, did you do what made you, just even back up a little bit, like what made you want to get into acting? Were you like a teenager? Did you go to school for it, or was it something that kind of just fell in your lap?
Yeah, no, man. I've done it my whole life. I was, a kid up in New Hampshire. I was born in outside of Boston, Stoneham, and then I lived in New Hampshire and Boston. And when I was a kid, I started acting when I was like 6 years old, and so it was kind of what I did my whole life, where I kind of felt comfortable. And then when I was going to college, my mom actually said to me, "Are you going to go to school for acting or visual art?" Because I paint and I do like watercolors and oil painting too. And she looked at me, she said, "I think you should go for acting." I said, "Yeah, I think I should too." And then I went for acting and studied acting. And then I started studying in New York City and was off to the races.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Now, okay, so we get gritty on the show. So I'm just warning you right now. We're gonna be asking you questions that are pretty gritty.
I heard you guys. No, I heard you being gritty.
Were the butts really that
Yeah,
fat?
right.
Listen, babe, I know you're watching this. I'm just entertaining the people at home. Love you, Connie.
So, Justin, how did it feel like being the only white man on the set? No, I'm just kidding. That's
Hey, come on.
I'm just
Justin, I'm sharing the pain.
Wait a minute. Is that kind of true? I'm like, yo, is there any white people in there except him? Because he works at that police department's got a lot of, like I said, female cops.
So
well saved, Dev. Well saved.
So like Justin, like how was it like working with because you worked a lot with who was the detective that was your partner? Missick? What's her?
It's Antonique Smith. Who played Nandi. She was awesome. She's a Grammy nominated pop star. Fantastic. It was awesome working with her.
Now, like behind the scenes, like there's always that one character, that one person that just makes jokes. Like, who's that guy? Because I know you were in a lot of different scenes, whether it was with Mike Coulter, or whether it was Simone Missick, or who is that character that always had people laughing when the cameras weren't rolling?
Mike is really funny, and Simone and Karen Pittman, who plays Priscilla Ridley, they get kind of goofy at night. Like you look over and they'll be singing songs or doing like some dancing. I got a little bit of footage of them dancing in season 1, and they're pretty funny. But one scene where like I'm way in the background, like near the end, you see I'm interviewing like a girl that was like the witness of a murder, and so she was all covered in blood. And I was interviewing her, and it was really late at night. We were all getting really punchy and goofy, and so she'd be like kind of mock describing someone to me. And then since I like draw and stuff, I started drawing like cartoon dogs and stuff.
That's called delirium.
And I'd be like, is this the man you saw? and she would start laughing, and then finally it ended up I was drawing pictures of the Grinch. and it was around Christmas time, and I was like, is this the man you saw steal Christmas? Is this the guy?
He got them over there wasting film. She in the background laughing. He trying to get her fired.
Yeah, it was funny. The director was like, "Wait, you're making her laugh? You can't make her laugh." I'm like, I believe this is the man who stole your presents. It's pretty funny.
Fantastic.
Hey, Justin, so did you grow up liking superheroes? And who was your favorite if you did?
I mean, I loved the movies and stuff growing up and everything. Like, I'd be straight up with you. I wasn't, a big comic book guy, but like when like they started making Spider-Man and the Dark Knight and like all that stuff, I got, well, that's blasphemy though. I didn't say anything about DC. Forget I said that.
Listen, it's okay, man.
Listen, you mentioned the good ones. It's okay.
They can't even hang with Joe right now, so it's all good.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm a big fan of the movies. Like, I rewatch all the Marvel movies like over and over and over again. My wife wants to kill me. Like, I've seen Doctor Strange like 17 times, like Black Panther. All those movies. I'm watching them over and over again. I just love the world. So I'm more of a cinephile when it comes to the Marvel universe.
So wait, did you like the old Batmans with Michael Keaton? Did you watch those back in the day, or were you not really into that?
Oh, you got to respect the first Batman with Michael Keaton.
Thank you.
Man.
Yeah, but that shit wasn't Marvel, so fuck them. That's what he said.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. So
yeah, I just can't talk about it.
Oh, okay,
They'll
of course.
come after me, man. Marvel will come after you, man. They'll be knocking on my door.
They're like,
about DC.
Listen, man, they're part of the Disney Big Brother film, so I can't blame that. So
listen, this dude exists in the Marvel universe. That means in an alternate Marvel universe, you got powers or some shit.
Right? He a superhero.
Yeah, you could really claim that. Like, you could say, look, man, in universe 1695 or whatever, 08105,
I'm sketch man.
Exactly. I could sketch things into existence, all of that. Or he could just bag all the bad chicks at your job.
Oh yeah, Justin, you were surrounded by beautiful women, dude. Like
that's why you didn't know she was
You
crooked.
guys are trying to get him in trouble with his wife already.
Listen, man.
Oh, I know. If she's listening, be like, don't tell her that. That's her day.
Listen, I'm trying to live
like
like
closed set, so she can't go.
I'm trying to live vicariously through Justin, man.
So Justin, there's something like Luke Cage and Netflix. They constantly raise the bar on how to portray like bad guys on the screen. How is it working with the Mustafa Shakir, a Bushmaster, and Alfie Woodard? Like, how was it working with these amazing actors? Did sometimes you just like stare in awe, like, yo, you good? Like, how was that working?
I don't think he said, yo, you good. I don't think he said that.
I just sit there and quiet and marvel at them. Really, I just like watch them. I mean, I got to tell you guys for real. Like, so we do table reads of each episode before we go in and we film it. So you have the whole cast sitting around a gigantic table, and at one end of the table they're Skyping in like Marvel on a gigantic screen, and they're watching the table read. So it's like the one time where everybody comes together. And I'll tell you, from the very first table read, because I come in episode 2, I sat down and I was watching it, and I was watching, like you said, Mustafa and Alfred and Simone and Mike and Theo, and I'm just watching them read this episode, and I'm like, whoa, like, this is special. Like, this is going to be an amazing season. And I knew right away, Mustafa, just sitting at the table read, he just knocked Bushmaster out of the park. I think I ran up to him afterwards. I was like, dude, that was amazing. It was just a table read.
That didn't make you feel like nervous, like when they
awesome.
make you raise your hand in class, like when they make you like stand up and go to the front of the classroom, like knowing they're staring at you. And you
He's an actor. That's what he does.
I don't care. Even when you're a professional basketball, Kobe Bryant gets nervous. What are you talking about? He got how many rings, dog? What? It doesn't matter if you're a professional. I'm asking, do you get nervous?
The only time is when I'm in like social situations or like before the table read and stuff. But like when during the table reads are like just the most nerve wracking. But like when you're on set and you're in character and everyone's there, it's such a level of everybody buying into the process and what's happening that like it's not about nerves at all. You're just kind of living off of you're literally living in the Marvel universe, and it does all the work for you. So you just get to play cops and robbers at like the highest level. It's pretty awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
No, that's. I mean, and one thing I know you wanted to ask Bravo. Because you had didn't the Luke Cage's father was the actor's name?
Reggie Cathy. Reggie Cathy.
Yeah. Now, did you have the privilege, the opportunity to be in a scene or meet him or work with him?
So when you're getting bussed around, there are these vans that can take you from like, you know, the set to the subway or like give you rides. And at some point in time, like you're kind of in one of those vans with somebody, and you know that it's transpo. They call it, hey, call in transpo. And I actually had the privilege to ride with Reggie a couple times in transpo for like a couple longer rides. And I told him, man, I was like, you know, House of Cards, you killed it. I'm just a huge fan. And he was like, thank you. And then he and I talked, because I think it was just he and I in the van for that one ride. And he told me all these stories from his career. And he told me like these different, you know, things he was working on. And just to get a chance to talk to somebody like that for that extended period of time and just pick his brain about acting, it was moving, man. He's an amazing new dude. And it was incredibly sad to hear, you know, that he passed away.
I mean, he was, guys, he did an amazing job. I mean, I thought the angle between Luke and his dad was actually one of the best angles on there, because it was real. Like, it just showed you how relationships can be tumultuous, how it's not always going to be, yeah, we cool. At first, like, even based on last season, they didn't like each other.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it was excellent that he still looked at him as his child at two different points. He said to him one time, you ain't grown, you know, and he talking to a grown man. And he also said,
superpowered grown man.
Right. He said, I can't be letting people just do that to my baby. You know what I'm saying?
And when he told him, I'm bulletproof skinny, he's like, I'll still break my foot up off your ass. Like, I'm so your dad, it don't matter. You know, that was real dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, Justin, this whole project, I know is really special to you, because you guys almost get like a family feel, right? When you work with everyone, like, and so when production wraps, it's just like, you know, you saying goodbye to your family, right?
I mean, from my point of view, yeah, I've never worked on a project like this with the people involved. They're so awesome. And I mean, not to discredit anybody else I've worked with. It's just, there's something really amazing and special working with this group of people, and it comes from the top down. The showrunner, Cheo Hodari Coker, he put this all together, and you know, he's the top of the pyramid there, like, and brought all these really awesome people together, and he sets the tone, and we just all follow. And I feel like it's a great, you know, kind of family atmosphere.
Hey, Justin, did Marvel or anybody warn you ahead of time that you were joining the Marvel family, and how big the fan base is, and how crazy the fans can be? Like, were you prepared for?
I did get a really cool email right after I booked the part that basically was like an email saying like, welcome, like you're now a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Nice.
And that was like
God,
really cool. I like brought my wife over. I was like, look at this. This is really cool.
Wait, did you cry a little bit, right? And she's like, oh, sweetie, you're crying. You're like, it's official.
We're sitting here,
I'm
we're all
crying right now just thinking about it.
Oh,
we're sitting here, we're all happy we got press passes to New York Comic Con. Imagine getting something like that.
You know what? I think he really probably didn't care. This dude, he's in a lot of shit. He's just naming shit. Remember earlier?
Come on, yo, but this is Marvel, man. This is the Marvel.
No matter what
monster.
you're doing, this is Marvel.
and you know what?
He wanted
man,
to be
it
a
was a
part of
big
Project
deal.
Tiara, man.
Right.
Yeah, man. I want to wear the tiara someday. When do I get to wear the tiara?
Hey, man.
And so, Justin, you saw on our social media page earlier, I put a question out to all of our followers, and there was a lot of really good questions. A couple people wanted to ask you, so I'm going to read a couple of them to you. The Bearded Con Man, who's a good friend of our account, I'm going to read this word for word. He said, Bailey has been through a lot this season, most of it good, and then really bad when it came to his partner. He also seemed to have that I'm with the cool, popular kids attitude now. So I have to give in to the peer pressure to stay in the group mentality a little. So I guess his question is, through his mind when he first got promoted, or did he get called up? Realized what he was doing. This was
What the hell?
wait.
What type of fucking?
It's a long.
Yo.
Wait.
He handed it to me to read. I was like,
For a second.
no.
You should have found out what he was asking. No disrespect, man. We rock with you.
It's a long sentence, but so as far as I'm gonna summarize it. As far as your character development, like, how do you feel like you really changed since the first season?
Well, a major theme, right, was that everybody in some way, shape, or form had some new type of status or new type of power given to them in the second season. Like Luke is famous now. Misty's dealing with her arm, but then, she gets her bionic arm. And the whole thing was really about how do you balance that newfound power and keep your moral center and don't lose who you are. So in every way, like even though, you're dealing across a whole group of people, Bailey in his own little way got that sense of power and status and lost himself in it for a second. And then had to come back around and re-find his moral center. And, basically the way that he, circles back and realizes, I made a mistake and I really care about Misty and her future. And I want to make sure that I'm there to support her. And I was betrayed. That's kind of his journey that season. And he's trying what everybody else is doing, trying to balance out that sense of newfound power with his moral center.
And you could
that's kind of how I felt it went.
And you could tell at points you were kind of torn, especially at the beginning. I remember at one point you're in the office, Misty looked at you like, really? And you kind of looked down like, oh, you know what I mean? Like she wanted you to have her back, but it seemed like you were kind of torn, but you're right. Toward the end, you realized what the right thing to do was.
Yeah, that hurt. I remember playing that scene and I remember there was one time we went through it and I was just really apologetic actually, where I came back and got up and I was like trying to make my friend back. Like I didn't want to hurt her. And then we kind of redid the take a little bit because it was a little too far in that direction. But one of the funny little Easter eggs that I do is if you notice in the first season, Bailey has this thing with his glasses. And that's kind of a major part of the character for me are these, the glasses, because they're actually my wife's glasses.
Wow.
So the prescription isn't mine. So when I look at something really close and I look through it, I start to feel sick.
Come on, God.
Taking it.
That's really good.
He's being real.
If you notice Bailey the first season, he looks really close at things and he takes his glasses off real quick. And that's me realizing, wait, I grabbed my wife's glasses and it's the wrong prescription.
Yo.
So what happens is in the second season, if you watch, Bailey at the beginning of the season, he's still trying to be Misty's friend and he's wearing his glasses. And then through the middle of the season, he thinks he's all cool. He's switching to contacts. He's not wearing glasses anymore. Right. But then at the end, when it circles back around, he's wearing his glasses again. Because he's like, yeah, I'm still kind of a nerd and I'm Misty's partner. So that's kind of how you can track it through the season. Exclusive here. Watch the glasses. That's
dope. That's dope.
We have another question. JPal_530 said, question, if your character can go to any other Netflix show as a cameo, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, or Iron Fist, yeah, that makes sense. Iron Fist, which would it be?
You can't even say it, can you?
Don't want to say it.
They got no love for the fist, man.
I heard you guys talking about that earlier.
You don't have to comment, bro.
Yeah, well, listen, man, we understand you work for the company, so you can say all positive roses and we won't judge you.
Yeah,
so
we're not going to put you in that situation.
Yeah, I think Finn is an amazing actor. I'll throw that out there. So if I could go to any other show, I think it would be really awesome to show up in Jessica Jones, actually.
That's a good pick.
Because Luke had crossed into that world, right? And then in the second season, they didn't really cross over very much. So I think it would be really neat to have that crossover still continue, as like Luke and Jessica might find their way back to each other. Because I know in the comic books, that's kind of where the relationship goes. So it'd be cool to be the connective thread between those two worlds.
Actually,
but frankly, I'd like to show up in all of them. I think it'd be good.
Get that bread. Get that bread, bro.
Bailey's there. Yeah, wherever Misty goes, I want to go.
Yeah, no, man. Like I said, this season we thought was a phenomenal season, man. You did a great job. Bravo, did you?
Yeah, I've got a two-parter question. One, if you could be any superhero, who would it be? And then two, if your character Mark got superpowers, how do you think he would behave?
This is a typical Bravo question, by the way.
Yeah. So the first part of the question is if I could be any other superhero, like other than like Super Mark Bailey, like I guess to be somebody else. Like who would I be?
Yeah.
So out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I really love Vision.
Vision, good pick.
Why?
I think that he is one of the coolest characters. he can morph. If you see what happens to him in the Avengers, like he's becoming more and more human, but he still has those superpowers. And there's just so much going on there, and there's so much mystery around him. I would love to be Vision. I think that's a great character.
Well, aside from the splitting headaches.
Oh my God!
horrible headache.
And you get to kiss Elizabeth Olsen, but your wife might not be soon.
Man, his wife is listening. Why are you trying to get the man in trouble?
Because he's the only one living in that world that none of us lives in. That's why.
Sorry, Justin. I'm the single.
There's a moratorium on kissing other people. I'll only kiss my wife.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get you in trouble, man. So no, I do want to ask you, like,
you met my wife, right? You met her at the Comic-Con.
No, and she.
There's no reason to kiss anybody else.
And she was an absolute sweetheart.
Right, Bravo will be a stunt kisser for you. Oh my God, we can't do it.
Yeah,
We're black.
You have to stand in. Could you stand in for me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What would Ree say, Bravo?
Go get it.
Wow. Okay.
Well, wait. I want to hear what his opinion is if Mark got powers.
If Mark got powers, is it what kind of powers they would be, or how it would affect him?
How it would affect him?
Because I know how it would affect him. He would get his own show.
Oh, you!
We already know he would front. He would front if he got
the
powers.
Mark Bailey show. It'll be I'll break out Nandi from jail, and we'll do a spinoff.
Mark?
I think if he got his powers, he would use them for good, but he'd have to wrestle a little bit with coming out of the shadows and being able to use superpowers against all these other people with superpowers he's seen kind of take over Harlem. I think one of the things that Bailey's obsessed with is the truth and evidence. Like no matter what happens, like he wants to be truthful and he wants to make sure he follows the evidence. So if he was to get a power where he could like look in people's minds and see like maybe like pictures or events where he could capture more evidence, I think that's what would really turn Bailey on. Like being able to have that sight to be able to put together more of those pieces of the puzzle. It's like he's a puzzle piece type of guy.
Yeah, he will want to be Misty, basically.
And you think he'd stay with the police force rather than be a vigilante?
Go on the vigilante? I think it depends on what would happen around him. I mean, if there are other vigilantes running around that needed his assistance, I could see him assisting. I think that he works the best as a support method, as a support of a team. So I think he'd go along and support the team.
Does Mark like vigilantes though? Is Mark a supporter of vigilantes?
Or
because I really couldn't tell. You could tell certain characters don't like vigilantes and some do, but I really couldn't tell about Mark's character if he was down with Luke Cage and what he does outside the law.
I think that Mark's main motivation is looking and making sure that Misty doesn't self-destruct. I think that as from the first day of shooting, I felt this like kind of almost like paternal thing where Mark's looking at Misty going, look, you're making these crazy reckless decisions sometimes and it's going to wreck you. It's going to destroy you. And I'm going to step in to show you like, this is the evidence and this is what we have to follow. Don't destroy your life. Don't destroy your career. So when Luke Cage is helping her and he's helping her the right way, I think Mark's supportive of that. When he's hurting her or causing some sort of damage, he's protective. And I think that's where his core and his moral center comes from. And that's why he got so messed up this year, because his loyalties were divided.
I like it.
There was one part, Mark, I think Luke Cage walked in on a scene and you looked at him kind of like, what are you doing here? And it wasn't like, what are you doing here? But contempt is like, come on, man. Like, you're going to get Misty in trouble. That's the vibe I got from you when you gave him that. You know what scene I'm talking about? I think it was like a murder scene.
Yeah, no. And then I guess I did my job, because that's exactly what I was.
Justin, you good.
Damn, the professional actor did a good job.
Well, we have seen bad jobs.
That's true. That's true. We have seen, and so far from everything I've seen on your performance, like top notch, dude. Seriously.
And Noah, two questions.
Thank you, man. It means a lot. It really does.
Good, man.
And two questions before we go. Random question. Growing up, what was your favorite video game?
My favorite video game growing up? What is that? It was a Nintendo football game. can't remember the name
Tecmo
of it,
Bowl.
but you could
Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Bowl.
Had to
You
be
could see
Tecmo.
Christian Okoye and run over everybody.
Wow.
So I would always pick
Had to be Tecmo.
I would always pick the team with Christian Okoye, and I would just run over everyone. And
Hold
beat
on,
them
might
up.
have not have been Tecmo.
Probably Bo Jackson.
Tecmo Bowl.
It had to be.
Yeah.
The only
Bo
other one would have been
Jackson.
Madden was on.
No, it was Bo Jackson on Tecmo.
Yeah.
Oh, Bo
Yeah,
Jackson.
Bo was running
Yeah,
over
Bo
everybody.
Jackson on Tecmo, but I was Christian Okoye. He was huge.
So wait.
Remember, he was just a phenomenon.
Does this mean you're a Giant?
Go ahead.
Are you a Giants fan, or are you a football fan?
Oh, I'm not going to reveal. I can't reveal.
Oh.
Because you'll never talk to-
Because
you'll never talk to me again.
our squad is the Super Bowl champs right now.
Wait. If he says Cowboys, I'm sorry, but Taylor, the line's going to accidentally get disconnected.
All I can say is go back to play the tape at the beginning and remember where I told you.
I was gonna say, you know the
He's a
part-
Patriots fan, man.
Oh, he's a Pats fan.
Yeah. It's okay. We beat him. It's all good.
Okay,
It's
all
all
right.
good.
dude, we can be friends.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm good with it. Listen. I got to tell you though, I'm a long-suffering Pats fan. Like I didn't just jump on a bandwagon in 2000. I watched them fail and I watched them run into the pile and fall down all through the 80s and 90s
Right.
and get beat up.
I respect
So
that because
we had a
they
good
were
run.
garbage for a
It's
long
okay-
time.
It's okay.
So
I watched them when they were garbage. I went to those games. I froze my butt off, and I watched them get crap kicked out of them by the Jets.
wait during
So-
the Drew Bledsoe era and before.
Oh, dude, Steve Grogan.
Whoa!
Come on.
Ooh.
Wow!
I'm going way back.
You made everybody groan. You're like, oh, he said Steve Grogan. How could you?
No, Steve Grogan, the man with the long neck. You wear that neck protector.
So before we let you go, are there any projects or anything you're working on now you want to tell us about? Like what after this is wrapped up, what are you doing now? What are you working on?
Well, right now we're looking at what's going to happen next with Luke Cage, and then what's going to happen, in terms of a move. Possibly, I might be relocating to Los Angeles. And then recently, I shot the movie The Post, and it came out this year and was nominated for an Academy Award. And now it's out on iTunes and Blu-ray and all that stuff. So Steven Spielberg's The Post. I got to do that last year, and now you can watch it online. So
Really cool.
Check it out.
Wow, how
His life is lit.
Yo, I want to hang with you, Mark.
He's been working
Mark
at it since he was
Justin.
6.
Listen, man, his life is lit. A lot of people been working since they was 6 and they not lit. You lit, bro.
Well, I mean, Justin, Jamie introduced us. So if you go out to LA, Jamie's out there too. So you guys you take over out there. Guys, give it up for Justin,
Listen,
man.
Justin, we've been watching your career very closely, man. You do a great job.
You're lit, and I'm telling you this now. If you was trash, I would tell you. I would tell you. You're great. You're
Well,
great.
Thank God I wasn't. Thank God, man. I appreciate those straight up talk. That's good stuff.
Justin Swain, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you for having me, guys. It was a pleasure. I'll come back anytime you want me to. This is great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Please do, bro.
Man, we really moving up in the world, man.
Moving on up.
He was awesome, man.
Hey, Georgia
He was
Wheezy,
awesome.
baby.
We party nerds out here interviewing real people, man.
No more sock puppets.
We coming
We're done with that.
We coming for you, whoever
No, but
all your other shows.
But you know what? Honestly, man, I mean, even going back to the show, like, I'm going to talk more about the villains. Dude, the Bushmaster, let me ask y'all, who do you think between season 1 and season 2, do you think Bushmaster gave the stellar performance, or are you still rocking with Cottonmouth and Diamondback? Like who?
Nah,
Cottonmouth and him are equal to me.
yeah, the Bushmaster
For
gave
different
a
reasons.
great performance. It's sad that they cut Cottonmouth short. That's what's so sad about season
And that
1.
was shocking too, man, in
Yeah.
season 1. It was kind of like you didn't
Dude,
What?
Dude,
Like he was, he killed that role, and to cut him short like that, it was terrible.
But look at the legacy it left in what it got to leave inside of the storyline with
Right.
Mariah. Was
And the whole factor of like, oh shit, they killed him midway. I didn't see that coming.
Game of Thronesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And it's funny you said that. I wonder if, because there was a lot of negative feedback when they did kill Cottonmouth, I wonder, like, they could have killed Bushmaster at the end, but he just kind of went away so they can bring him back. I mean, even look at the end of Black Panther when they killed,
Killmonger.
Yeah, when they killed Killmonger, Bravo's over here, like, knocking out my headset.
I did it on purpose.
So when they kill Killmonger, some people are like, oh, we want to Killmonger, but now I think when they bring in like a quality actor, like that guy, like even his Jamaican accent, like I loved when they showed his story. Like his
His story was crazy.
oh,
That's the thing is we've in all comic books, when you would read them and everything, it was the villain got away to come back another day. And what we've seen in a large trend with not just the movies, but the TV shows as well, is heroes come and die. Like, it's not even they go to jail for them to be broken. Like, they'll end up being killed one way or another. So I think it's actually refreshing for, oh, he just went away. Like, he'll come back maybe.
Yeah, and they'll have a vendetta because now, and I love how they made Nightshade. At the very last scene, she looks just like the comic character. So, and not only that, did you guys realize at the end how they left Luke Cage? You're kind of like, yo, is he about to get a little gangster and stuff? That totally follows the comic, by the way.
That's the big question. Do you look at Luke Cage more as a kingpin, or the sheriff, as he wants to call himself? He's towing that fine, and that was DW's thing. He's towing that fine line right now. Like, you're working with the mobsters, man.
Right. At the end of the day, you got a treaty of some sort where you letting them handle that business outside of here. You letting them do crime and things like that.
And let's not forget, that's how a lot of gangs have started. Was we need to protect each other, so we're only going to protect each other. And then they started antagonizing other people and causing a lot more crimes and problems. It all started with good intentions to protect the people. So, I mean, we might see a Breaking Bad type of deal where it's, if you're put into bad moments, are you going to be a bad person?
So did you think Cage is being a little selfish, though, of only worrying about Harlem? Like, absolutely. Like, forget the rest of New York, forget the Bronx, Brooklyn, everybody. You're worried so much about Harlem that you're cool with nothing happening in Harlem, but people get murdered 20 blocks over.
He is a little bit. He is. I think what he's doing a little bit is he tripping a little bit. The same way his girl came there and he was like, "Yo, tell her to bounce. Tell her to go home."
He's feeling himself.
He in the club with the suit on. He about to be knocking down
upstairs.
all types of cheeks.
Wait. And by the way, in the comic, he does rock that look. You ever see the Luke Cage variation where he's the suit and stuff? Yeah. So I don't know
with the vest and all of that.
Right. So.
He is about to get busy. I mean, you got to think he's a celebrity. Like, you see, he walking through the club. One of the baddest chicks ever pulled him to the side to take a picture with him. This dude is really, really popping, and now he's the king of Harlem. He's running the club that a gangster always ran. A club is always going to have filthiness going on inside.
Thanks, Dev.
A club is always going to have filthiness.
Thanks, Dev. No one here works at a nightclub.
Wait a minute.
Listen,
Bravo is that kingpin, just in case.
I did the same thing for years, and it's always filthiness going on.
When Dev come to the club, you know what you got to do, man. Security alert.
Listen, man, there's always some kind of filthiness in that business.
Jerv, on your whole point of like, do you think he's being selfish? I disagree. While everybody can always look at that type of stuff, it's the same thing when a celebrity donates money to a charity. Oh, you donated to that? Great. What about our veterans? What about the Alzheimer's patients? What about there's only so much one person can do. And listen, yeah, he could probably improve Harlem a little bit and then move on and hope it continues to increase and get better. But that's where he lives, that's where he's from, and that's where he sees people suffering the most. So he's going to try to make it as best as he can while he's there, because at the end of the day, this isn't a responsibility given to him from God or from some sense of righteous justice. It's his sense of community.
You know what? And I love how it's a direct opposite of what happened first season. At the end of first season, he got locked up. So he ended the season on the bottom. Now he's ending the season on top, which might be the bigger challenge for him to see if he can overcome. I mean, you saw the Italian girl was like, "Yo, when you want to get some coffee,
espresso."
Espresso, right?
But most importantly, the old lady asked him.
That scene was great.
That was crazy.
That was great.
But now,
I literally was on my phone and dropped it. Went, what?
Because y'all mentioned this, I wouldn't. Not me, babe. Not me. If I was Luke Cage, not if I was me. If I was Luke Cage,
cheat forever.
No, I'm talking about that Italian lady was trying to give you some work.
So, Dev, you're saying you?
No,
you would have got that. You would have had espresso with her.
If you were Luke Cage, you would?
No, if Luke Cage,
if you were Luke Cage, you would have had espresso.
If I was not me at all.
And you're talking about the old lady, right?
No, he talking about the Italian mobster.
No, absolutely not. I'm making sure I'm being pinpoint accurate clear.
That'd have been some straight up espresso.
I'm being Hawkeye pinpoint clear here.
Yeah.
But Bravo's right. It is kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? I definitely dig that. He's picking a place and he's saying, look, I want to do that here. You can't really judge because he doesn't have to,
Right.
do anything. But I do think his choices is still kind of weird, bro. Like the other dude, the driver dude, he's a thug.
Sugar.
Yeah, so he's kind of picking like, if you rock with me now, I can forgive all the other stuff that you did.
He's putting a blind eye to things like with
that's
the mob.
what it is. That's what I'm saying. It's a blind eye even within his own organization. Like, bro, you can find other people that are big that could be your muscle and guards. You're using people that added to that whole.
He's as bad as Mariah and everybody else.
He's a major player.
He
just got out of it because certain things weren't benefiting him in a certain way at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was down with the crime. He just wasn't down with the level that they were going to. Like, okay, now you're just burning people up.
But at that same token, you have to remember, any superhero that we ever watch, short of after Civil War, is a criminal. They're assaulting people. They're not giving them their due. They're not giving them their due process. They're doing false imprisonment.
It's different.
But see, that's the thing. Is so are gangsters. Gangsters are seeing it in a different way than you're seeing it.
No, I'm seeing it from that perspective because that's what I'm from. I'm not seeing it from...
No, I'm not disagreeing on that sense. I'm saying in this
laws are not ethics, right?
Correct.
Laws are what are the rules that these old guys made up. And then there are things you know in your heart or whether or not... Like if you rob somebody on a contract, it's legal. Is it right or wrong? You knew you robbed that man. Mm-hmm. You're still wrong. So when you go to save somebody and you beat up a dude that's beating up his wife, or you stopping criminals that's killing people or putting out poison in the community, is totally different. I heard that.
But that's the thing is the reason why that we have laws. And listen, I'm not disagreeing with your standpoint at all. I actually fully agree with it. But when we have those types of standpoints and we make those types of rules, and we say, oh, well, it's okay because he's doing it for a good reason. At what point does that stop? Because here's the thing is a lot of those gangsters might actually have that utilitarian idea of, yeah, it's okay to kill 3 people if I'm saving 5. Or, well, I'm not okay doing this type of crime, but I'm okay doing that. And then at that point, you're also ignoring the argument of rehabilitation as well.
Nah, but we're not. Sugar could be bought. He could be bought, bro. He gonna work for whoever. He's literally he's a henchman. He's not a leader. He falls under whoever has the power at the time. If a new criminal person takes
like a hero for hire.
No, but yeah, a hero, right? A hero for hire. You can't get Luke Cage to just go kill somebody for $5,000. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense.
And know what, guys? I do got to. We actually have a new sponsor, and I do want to read about them. But real quick, we really didn't get into Shades and his boys.
Man, we didn't get into the black.
A lot. We'll have to do another one.
It's so much stuff about black people and history and the things black people go through and the hatred within. It's all in this show.
We're going to continue it next week, man. This is one of those shows where we got to give this 2 weeks. But before we go, National Credit Card Relief, and I'm going to read this because these guys are awesome. If you can't seem to stay ahead of your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debts, medical bills, and department store debt, everything forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would love to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. This program has been used by thousands to legally forgive millions in unsecured debt. It's not bankruptcy, so don't get it wrong. It's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean a portion of your debt that is forgiven from what you owe from your creditors. Call for free information and get all your questions answered in the first free call. The more you owe, guess what? The more you can save. If you have at least $10,000 or more in credit card bills, this debt forgiveness program can be very effective and is definitely for you. Call for free information, and when to find out how, here's a number: 1-800-218-7170. Again, 1-800-218-7170. There is no cost or obligation for this information. Don't wait. Make sure you call. Again, 1-800-218-7170. Get your debt problem solved. Guys, These guys are taking care of us. Credit card debt relief. If you guys are struggling, these are the people you need to call.
These the same dudes that negotiated Shade's deal where he could probably just tell you that he murdered 300 people and he's still going to walk the streets of New York. Listen, that's who these dudes are. They're them. So y'all want to call them because they can do it all.
They get it done.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was the most ridiculous deal I ever seen.
So I mean, and we are going to get into this more, but like I thought that this season, first of all, I love the fact they had Rakim. I love how the show does
KRS-One.
but the show doesn't just give you a great story. It promotes new artists. It promotes, like, they had Bob Marley's son was on there, man. He killed. He sounds just like his dad. He sounds exactly like his dad, man. I love on the show how they promote artists. So we will be getting back into it,
Yeah, it did. Like I said, I think this was a great season. I think Netflix and Marvel have stepped it up on this one right here. And,
Was it better than Jessica Jones season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love season 2 of Jessica Jones. I thought that was
it's better.
I don't. It was good. I like season 1. Purple Man was just such a great villain in that first season. But I mean, she got 2 great seasons out of her show. So
we'll get more into it, guys. Party nerds,
we out.
We're out.
We out.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get one good season out.